They are inevitable. Boston Celtics win the 2024 NBA Finals in a 4-1 gentleman's sweep. Hey everyone, this is Spectator Sports. I'm your host Sebastian Fonseca. Remember to drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, it really helps this channel grow and reach a broader audience. And let's get into breaking down the conclusion of this year's NBA Finals. Boston won Game 5 pretty comfortably. In fact, this game was honestly over by the second quarter after they broke it open with a 21-point lead. Peyton Pritchard yet again had another half-court heave. And when shots are going down like that, you know that it's just one team series. The Celtics have dominated from the regular season to the postseason and also the NBA Finals. And Jaylen Brown is anointed as the 2024 Finals MVP. And while his offensive game might have dissipated in the last two games, he still was bringing it defensively, just being the two-way player that he is and taking on the task of guarding Luka pretty much every time that he's on the court, even guarding him all 94 feet from when he picks up his dribble, just being a pest, being disruptive, being super physical. And that's really the difference in this series. I thought he set the tone, especially in Game 1, and continued to be the guy that to slash the rim, be the leader of this Boston Celtics team. And yes, Tatum may have had the better two offensive games with a couple 30-point nights, including the closeout game in Game 5. But Tatum doesn't bring what Jaylen Brown brings on the defensive side. It never felt like the Mavs were really in this game. I thought in this first half, it was really kind of going the Celtics' way, especially after the end of the first quarter, as the Mavs cut it to about like 6 points or so. The Celtics blew it open with a couple threes, and when things are going like that, it just puts so much distance. Luka didn't hit a three until, I want to say, late in the third quarter, maybe early the fourth. Kyrie just never had a good game in Boston, and that just comes down to hounding excellent defense by the Boston Celtics. I thought that he never got into a comfortable set. He also just didn't get the ball at opportune moments either. I felt like Luka was just dribbling the air out of the basketball throughout this entire series, too Luka-centric, and not giving it to Kyrie. But also when Kyrie got it, it was late in the shot clock. It was probably with about 12 seconds or less on the clock. And at that point, he has to scramble to make something, and he just ended up with really bad shots. He missed a lot of makeable shots, but when you have Drew Holiday and you have Jaylen Brown, you have Derek White, those three guys are just so tenacious. And the length as well. Whenever you saw Kristaps Porzingis play, he was a rim protector. Al Horford is still very much a very good defender at the rim and on the perimeter. And that's really the difference in this game. The Celtics had the role players, they've been the deeper team, and it kind of exposed what the Mavs are. They're very top heavy. They got through the Western Conference playoffs thanks to stellar play from their role players, but definitely took certain moments that play definitely dropped off. Maxi Kleber didn't step up to what we expected him to be in this NBA Finals. I know he's coming off a shoulder injury, so that's something to consider. Derek Lively, after kind of being a really good, important player on this Mavs team, was really a no-show in this game. It wasn't even marred by foul trouble. He just didn't get a lot of good looks, and he had some critical turnovers and just not good championship winning play. And he's a rookie, so you can't really blame him all on that. Derek Jones and PJ Washington didn't really bring in offensively. They were okay defensively, but compared to the production that you saw in this Western Conference run, they definitely fell short, including 3 players for the Mavs. They only had them in double figures. The rest were spotty at best, and I think it just comes down to just a mismatch. You knew that Boston could spread the Mavs out, and then especially when Daniel Gafford is out there and he's forced to guard Kristaps Porzingis on the perimeter, that basically eliminates his defensive abilities because he's known as a rim protector as well. But Derek Lively can get out on the perimeter and be at least kind of admirable guarding out on the perimeter when Kristaps is hanging around the three-point line like we've seen. Boston three-ball remained consistent. They shot about 40% for much of Game 5, and that was really the difference. The Mavs really didn't make a ton of threes until late when the game was well in hand. And again, it just comes down to who can make three-point shots. There was just a huge disparity in this series with the three-point shooting. Boston's one of the best, if not the best, in the entire league. And Mavs have been middle of the pack, and they have capable guys, but those two guys didn't even shoot about 30% from deep. I think Josh Green was probably their best three-point shooter, but even him, he wasn't a guy that cracked the lineup in consistent minutes. So again, it's a mismatch, and Boston took advantage of it. Credit to Joe Mazzulla. I thought him taking on this Boston Celtics team last year in the midst of the Ime Udoka scandal is definitely something that wasn't expected, but Joe took it by the horns, and he took his team to the Eastern Conference Finals. He definitely looked like a guy that getting outcoached, and I mean, come on, who doesn't get outcoached by Eric Spoelstra when he's probably one of the best coaches in this game? But after a full off season, having the Celtics ownership back him and having some modifications with the roster, Joe Mazzulla led the way, and he was just really good. He was probably the best coach in this postseason run. Anytime Boston was in a bad mix or a bad run, he called timeouts, he made adjustments. You never saw the Celtics lose back-to-back games. In fact, they only lost 3 games in this entire postseason run. Like I said, the Celtics team has been dominant from beginning, middle, and end, and now they've hung up banner number 18. Out of all the Celtics that won an NBA championship on Monday night, you gotta feel for Al Horford. I mean, this guy was born at the unfortunate similar period that LeBron James was. In 2004, he was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. He had to go through the KG, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen Celtics, and just couldn't break through then. And then LeBron went to the Miami Heat, ended a couple seasons there, and it couldn't get through LeBron's Cavs. And after that, then he joined the Boston Celtics and still couldn't really break through. And it just so many times that he got so close to the Eastern Conference Final, but just couldn't break through the NBA Finals. And he was later traded to the Philadelphia 76ers, kind of had a disappointing year in 2020, cast off to OKC, a rebuilding franchise. And you thought he'd end his career in his twilight years with a rebuilding team. Well, the Celtics called him back up in 2022, and he was an integral part in their finals run and got 2 games within the NBA Finals championship. And last year, so close to returning, but finally in 2024, he broke through. So congratulations, Al Horford, you deserve it. You've been a long-time veteran, and couldn't be happier for a guy like you.